A moment of panic and a push towards point 4 came in with the SEC news. And based on the charts, after point 4, the next support level should be around 0.38. Those who are still holding are going to make profits in this market. We will lose a lot of newcomers who just came in because someone else made profit last month. They don't know anything about this technology and they are still here to make profit. We are all here to make profit. The difference is we know what this project is about. When you panic sell, remember they chased EOS and find block 1 and it's still trading in different exchanges. It's playing out its market cycle. Now, yes, it doesn't look much of a movement. It is not actually pushing way upside when other assets are moving to the upside, but it is still trading on different exchanges and playing out its market cycle. So that is not going to be a bad thing for the entire structure, because for XRP, things are different. The stand taken by Ripple, the company, shows their confidence level in XRP. And always remember, the world is not just United States. The asset XRP has been classified as a currency outside US and inside US too. Now they don't even know what or who they are working for, with different government institutions coming out with different ideas. Say FinCEN coming out and saying it's a virtual currency. CFTC highlighting similar idea. So that's something like that. And then you have to understand, if they are going to go forward with this step, G20 market has a different stand. And if US is out of that layout, then others will rule the era of blockchain. And that is for sure, because when you read this submission of Ripple, the company, when you come to the page number 3, it gets really interesting when they actually highlights XRP is used as a currency by 150 third party. So with that, it is easily understandable that XRP is being used by 150 third parties as a currency, as a bridge asset. So the utility of this asset is clear. Now, if you remember the statements made by the SEC members, other SEC members, it is clear that if you are considering an asset which is working in a network, that asset cannot be a security. And here it is, SEC comes out and states that this one is a security, right? So Ripple, the company, is right now trying to fight back. So you have to actually go through all of these details and highlight what really is happening, right? They compare it with Ethereum, they compare it with BTC. Now, there is nothing wrong with doing that. But you can see from the response of Anthony Pompliano or Vitalik Buterin that they are not happy, because they don't actually want everyone to know that these assets are being controlled by more than 60-70% miners are in China, and that can continuously be stated as the control by that government. If you look back in history, you can clearly understand what that government, Chinese government, is able to do with different institutions. Just Google it, you will understand their authoritarian law, right? So now, when you go and look at the price, there are a lot of different stuff which you need to understand before you move ahead. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. Now, when things are getting a little bit messy and a lot of people are losing to whales, they're giving the XRP easily to the whales, which the whales are really meaning, they don't actually want you to hold this much amount of XRP, say 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 or a million. It's depending upon your portfolio, but do understand the whales who hold huge chunks of XRP doesn't actually want you to hold this much, and they will try their best to take it away from you. If you look at IMF and BIS walking towards the digital banking, digital services, it is clear that there is no stopping this one, right? When you go towards this from Caitlin Long, the connection within the US, connecting that to Wyoming, it is clear, right? By the way, Wyoming's bank don't need to worry about this. And they highlight about Kraken too, because they just took a banking license. So they are exempt from this one, right? So they have these exemptions from SEC registration requirements. Do you smell something? Yeah, for the retail investors, these are kind of a big smoke, and until that clears, they have to wait. But by that time, many would panic sell, lose their hard-earned XRP from last 3 years they've been accumulating, or last 6 months whenever the price was low. They accumulated, they tried to push the average as low as possible, and now they are failing. They're just panic selling. I'm not talking about all of you, but majority of you would be thinking that right now. I can actually easily say that a lot of you, even experienced guys, at least those who are in this asset class for some time, 1 or 2 years or 3 years, are in a panic mode. Because in my Patreon group, I'm actually receiving a lot of personal messages asking, where do you think the price is going, to which position this crackdown can actually lead to, what SEC is going to do next. All and everything is related to price. For investors, retail investors, we are here speculating in this asset, looking at the fundamental of this asset, right? So when you look at technical indicators, you kind of get a little bit more room of information. And that pointed towards me buying more positions. And I was not able to pick exact bottom, just around 0.4, but I got just above 0.4. That's not actually bad for my trading positions. Now I'm not adding towards my long-term bags. Instead, I'm adding these as trades, and some of them are, yes, leveraged. But yes, my leverage positions have a long room for the stop losses. I don't actually keep tight stop loss like what others teach you, because that doesn't actually work for me. With my risk tolerance level, for me, it works better when I give my trades a long range to play out. So this kind of stuff happening on an hourly chart will kind of kick you out, right? The price broke down below this support. It came back up, it retested that, and it got rejected. That's bearish, right? This is on a 1 hour chart, and that's bearish. Now, the bottom of that support level is around 0.38, 0.385, that area on a 1 hour chart. And when you zoom out, say you move into a weekly chart, you can see this was the previous high which we put in back in 2017, and then this is where we are right now. So currently we are in a support resistance range, which is pointing towards this resistance and support level of 0.38, and then this is also a long-term range, so we should be respecting the price there. Then the weekly moving average, the 20-day moving average, the 50-day moving average is at the bottom, just getting that rounded up motion. But do understand that the 50-day moving average is coming somewhat closer towards the price. So if you actually move in here with that idea, you can actually see that the 50-day moving average is still just rotating to the upside, whereas the 200-day moving average is around 0.38. So the support resistance level of 0.38 should hold if we break below 0.4. Now, if we don't, we would be getting a consolidation there, because we lost a lot of traders here. We lost a lot of investors here just because of the SEC news. They are not looking at this as patterns, trends, and what's happening in the market, because these short-term news can impact in short-term trading. In the long-term market cycle, it's based on the entire asset and its market cycle, right? It's not just about the US, it's about where these assets are being used, where it is currently getting more attention. So when you come back here, Crypto Bitcoin Chris from Crypto Revolution highlighted this thing. EOS got a pass. Ripple and XRP can too. So when you actually jump in, you can see that SEC charges Ripple to executives with conducting 1.3 billion unregistered security offerings. That's not a small deal, right? But Ripple has the money to fight back because they clearly can show these idiotic ideologies that look at this. For Japan, this is the stuff. For UK, this is the stuff. They can actually show all around the globe, say Switzerland, Singapore, and other areas, Middle East. Considering this, we can actually think what these SEC guys are having for their breakfast, right? They are not eating something like human beings, otherwise they would be taking proper decisions. Now, that's just my opinion, but when you look at the reality about these stuff and go through what Ripple, the company, is highlighting here, they are giving them all these information from last 2 or 3 years, right? And when you come here to look at Ripple's on-demand liquidity, which is a product using XRP as a bridge currency to address inefficiencies in cross-border. Now you come here and look at what they are talking about. Both International Monetary Fund and Consumer Financial Protection Bureau have recognized the consumer benefits of on-demand liquidity. Now, are we just talking about the United States here? No, we are looking all around the globe. So when we come to the downside here, again, it highlights XRP is a currency for 150 applications. So when you come to the top here, these are the real scenario which you have to look at. Worldwide, if this thing is going to be adopted based on the consumer benefits, then these changes which is created here in US will end in just a fine. Like block 1, they'll just pay the fine and then continue their business because this is just an error from the side of SEC. But at the same time, you have to understand, if these are kind of the ideology pushed out, it is just manipulating the newcomers in the market, those who already understand what Ripple, the company, is about and how the escrow works. They are not worried about this. They know the final goal and where we are moving towards. Crypto Miami highlights this. In 2013, the Department of Treasury and Financial Crimes Enforcement, they fined Ripple. Yeah, I agree, but what did they actually do there? Back then, they fined Ripple for selling, not registering as a money service business for selling virtual currency XRP and forced them to register. So if they are right now a money service business, delivering XRP as a part of that business, this never makes sense. They don't even have to pay that fine. They can just show SEC that you were sleeping. You have to wake up, look at the reality, what really is happening, right? So when Ripple highlights that it is being sued by the SEC and what the company is calling like a parting shot, Jay is leaving SEC and he hasn't done a good job all this time. If you look at what is being highlighted, say Caitlin highlights, fascinating, the SEC will be important player in the US crypto in 2021 because we finally learn if a trust company is a qualified custodian to which crypto it thinks are securities. Now, this is about SEC which thinks as securities, right? If it is not a security, others can do that. Say CFTC or FinCEN, they'll interpret. They'll come in, they interfere, and they'll interpret based on what they can see from that asset. So when you look at all of these things, it kind of gets clear because what we are looking at is based on the movement of money cross-border. So when you come back here, just to highlight this again, that the International Monetary Fund and the Consumer Protection Bureau have recognized benefits of on-demand liquidity, and then come back to this tweet from IMF. Here they highlight, just as money crosses borders, so too must our regulatory efforts. International cooperation can facilitate cross-border payments and address spillovers. 800 million people depend on remittance, paying on an average of 7% fee. So what we see from SEC right now can be a push from the SWIFT. We read this previously, we heard this previously. The status quo is being shaken and they will try their level best to fight and survive. But yes, the technology is so disruptive, they won't survive, but they will try all those cheap tricks to stand. But they will be kicked down for sure with their old, decades old, that legacy systems will be kicked out. With this information, when you jump into Bank of International Settlements, this is what you actually can see. Adaptation and management of digital portfolios, digital banking service, and client contracts in a pandemic crisis. So again, when you come back here towards that digitization, look at Europe. They are moving much faster and they are establishing a lot of things. The previous IMF chief is the head of ECB right now, the European Central Bank, and they have a lot of things to do because they understand that this market is being shaken. The status quo is being shaken. Christine Lagarde openly stated that previously the technology is doing that. Now, in this video, if you actually have watched this, it's clearly showing what Brad Garlinghouse think, and he is standing firm on that one. Now, I won't play that because most of those information which he is establishing there comes from this document, or at least it's coming from the same organization, so they have plotted it pretty well here. Now, back in 2015, when Department of Justice and FinCEN settled a case with Ripple, they determined XRP was a convertible virtual currency. That's a bridge asset. So the transaction should comply with their laws, not securities transaction, right? The settlement required Ripple's transaction, XRP's transaction, to comply with laws that do not apply to securities. Now, Securities Exchange Commission is coming after this. That doesn't make any sense there. That's why I'm still saying that guy didn't have his breakfast. He's still hungry and he don't know what to do. It's like, the song which we hear from the Cocomelon and all for the kids. He's hungry and mad, so you don't actually know what to do and what he is doing. Because when Ripple's on-demand liquidity platform, where XRP is a bridge currency, is being identified by IMF, Financial Protection Bureau, BIS, United Nations, all these supranational institutions along with the central banks, and 150 institutions are using it as a bridge currency. It has nothing to do with securities. And now SEC comes out saying, no. You were selling a security after 8 long years. What have they been doing all this time, right? But at the same time, you can see individuals like these coming out and stating, it's better alternative to Bitcoin. Now, these guys are those with huge followers, as you can see, 100k followers, but still don't understand what it is about. So there is a prompt response from Stedas showing this thing, and we understand this completely. We don't need much more explanation for this, but they still don't. They are still looking at BTC as a payment asset. It's just a store of value for being the purpose, serving the purpose of store of value. It's energy eating. We all know all those negative sides, from those Chinese side towards the energy eating, the friction in that, the fees in that. We have a lot of things to say if we ask to talk about that, but we are not here to do that, right? Whereas we now look back and understand different nations have different perspectives, and majority of them, say 99% of them, believe that XRP is a digital asset used for payment, and they are regulating it based on that. SEC has an amendment here which came out recently showing Rule 144 and Form 144. So that is kind of highlighting the pump and dump kind of same schemes. They are trying to reduce that and control the market. That is not a bad thing. But these type of stuff, when they come out and highlight that this is a security when it is not, is a bad thing, a bad decision which they are creating when they are not in line with the rest of the world. It's not just the rest of US, it's with the rest of the world. So now, with all of these being said, look back at the price. We can go back, look at the real-time charts, 4 hour, 1 hour, based on whatever you need. Look at what the price is actually doing. Yeah, we are getting a lower low here in the price. A lot of sellers are coming in, and I'm still getting personal messages which I can see that and understand what the mentality of crowd is. And that's why I was highlighting to them, I'm buying. I may be wrong, but as of now, based on what I can see in the RSI and the news and the real fundamental of this asset, I have no doubt that I'm doing a wrong thing. I'm completely sure this is the correct thing to do right now. I don't have any doubt about this. But if you think like you are not risk tolerant, you can't wait for these drops, you can't actually view this, just turn off your computer, go sleep. When the dust settles, you can come out and look what really happened. Because there has been a lot of bad news. If you look at the market, go on a weekly, there has been, like governments coming out and stating we are going to ban crypto, a blanket ban on crypto. And what happened afterwards? Look at what JP Morgan was highlighting. I'll fire anyone who trades Bitcoin. And what are they doing right now? So these are the stuff which you have to understand and learn from the past, that this will happen to kick you out of the market when the market is preparing for a rally. And then when you're out and the price is low, they will buy more and push this price up and reap the benefits. So you'll be sitting out, looking to the sky, opening your mouth and saying, I missed. So do you need to be that guy? Or instead, you need to be something like, I'm not a smart money, I'm not like smart guys, but I made smart decisions. That should be the one you should be looking at as an investor or a long-term trader. If you are in for the short-term gains, you would be wiped out right now if you're trading leverage positions with these kind of news. And I have always highlighted that to you guys. I hope you guys trade safe and understand your own risk tolerance. If you received value for your time, do hit that like and subscribe button. And if you have any kind of doubts, questions, do post that in the comment section. I will try to respond to as much as possible. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.